Hey, this is Alex Vasko with All For Him Racing Videos, and you're listening to Cash on the Hood podcast. When you're done listening, please go over to YouTube and check out all the number 4 Him Racing videos for all your derby action needs.
Hey, yo, it's Cash on the Hood, your favorite podcast. I'm here with Alex Vasko and Steven Sickles. We were just talking about how we pick up cars to get money. But before that, Brian says you got to like, share, and subscribe. Brian from Cinema Psychos, Lipson podcast, filmed and recorded right here at StudioME in East Liberty. Alex, say hi.
Hi, I'm Alex Vasko with All For Him Racing Videos. We bring derby videos all over across all the socials.
Steven Sickles, Revved Up Garage Gas, Sickles Racing, all the above.
So, all right. So Steven Sickles brought an empty trailer to the studio this morning. He called me first. He's like, yo, survey the parking. Where can I dive bomb this thing? Thinking that Alex was going to be here at 7:30. So we were like, I was running down the sidewalk. I was like, you got a spot right here behind McDonald's. You can jam this truck and trailer in before the fitness gym comes in. So if you know Steven and you know this podcast, Art Hustle and a Little Demolition Derby, we really put some hustle. We got 3 hustlers up here today. And Steven's doing it. He's proving it. He bring the trailer to the city. He's got a car being picked up. He's picking up a crappy-ass Corolla.
Yeah, I'm getting a 2000 Corolla. Fun stuff. But as me and Jason talked about, you got to take the bad with the good. So
You got to tow some trackers before you can get a Mini.
Yeah, so shout out to my dad. Actually just has gallbladder removed 2 Fridays ago, and he's still going to tow a car.
Oh, geez.
Right now. He won't listen. He works no matter what. But we're getting a 2010 Caravan in Uniontown and then the Corolla here at the same time.
Got to get that money if you're going to be rolling. Those trucks aren't cheap. That gas ain't cheap. Right, Steven?
Diesel, but yes.
I run a gasser.
I know. I'm jealous.
I like my gasser.
Yeah, I stayed away from the diesel.
Yeah, well, you got that Honda Pilot. I was telling you about the red interior in the Acura. That way you move on up to the luxury game.
Yeah, right now if it's tan with tan and a little more tan.
Well, that's derby dirt. That's why I got a rubber interior in my truck. I was like, I'm going to be in too many derbies.
I bought the nice floor mats and all that, so I just hose them off and do it again.
Nice.
But,
right?
Yeah, we gotta. The thing about derby that's pretty wild though is we gotta get to these events. It's the same thing with like your cars. You gotta hop at it when the opportunity's there, right? And a lot of these events, they only happen once a year. So the hustle has to happen because somebody's got to get there.
That's true.
And it's happening whether I show up or not.
Sometimes I feel that keeps you at the top of your game, though, when you're almost borderline procrastination to being late for something. Sometimes it keeps you at such a heightened sense that you're ready. You're just ready to rip as soon as you get there.
Yeah, right. You're not wrong.
That's true. Yeah, well, I mean, that's good. We appreciate it. The Most Wanted Car Club loves Steven Sickles' shop. He has made Demolition Derby easy for us. If you have such a place like that, it's so great. Now that we've downgraded to the Most Wanted class, it's awesome. Like, he gets so many cars. They can swing in
for a night and just get a car built.
That's awesome.
So for us, a Corolla, we're like, hey, yeah, does it start? Like, yeah, we'll put somebody in. We'll put Fatty in it.
Yep. Something like that.
We like to put Fatty in the smallest cars possible.
Trying to find him a smart car, but
we'll find one. We'll weld 2 together.
Now I did want to touch on the subject. You've ran a Prius, right?
Yes, long time ago.
Now, did you have the batteries in it still?
Yep.
Okay.
I built a roll cage around the battery.
Okay.
They didn't notice it in an inspection, right? We put that giant pipe underneath the whole car.
Yeah, you did. That was before me.
It was a good idea.
So since then, Sauer actually has acquired another Prius, and I started to build him for him, and I'm doing my research, doing my homework, and I ended up talking to Toyota Tech.
Okay.
He's like, this is the worst idea you could possibly do.
Mm-hmm.
So if that battery grounds out to something incorrectly, it could literally melt the person in the driver's seat. And it's like,
I left the carpet in.
Try and break the ground.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got a cease and desist from Toyota. It was a fun summer because I was tagging Toyota and everything. I was like, oh, come on, get me on top. This is a Prius. And it was fun.
Sauer still has a fresh Prius sitting at my old house that I was going to try and Toyota swap for him. Because the whole idea, the nostalgia of the Prius, how many people would notice? I mean, from the outside looking in, it just got to move.
Right. Yeah, so I apologize to everybody at the fair. I shouldn't have done that. I took your lives at risk, my life at risk.
Well, what kind of got that question primed for me is I develop electric motors for a living, and I really wanted to somehow incorporate the electric motor aspect into a derby car.
Yeah, the torque is amazing.
Well,
No one
his
could
did
catch me.
surprisingly well, too, because it just wouldn't die. I mean, he had like 4 flats, and that electric motor was still just like...
Still just cranking.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it never died. I tied for third because cars died on top of me.
Yeah. So I figure if there's a way I can do it safely, then I think that would get a lot of views.
Oh, for
But,
sure.
but it'd be
so
interesting.
You got to move the battery into the car, make it
Yeah.
longitudinal instead of latitude or whatever. So,
Yep.
and put up a cage around it. There's things that we should have did, but we didn't do. But yeah, I should have brought that big battery out and put it in long ways.
Yep.
And, but now that we know about batteries and we know about overheating, and we know about, I feel like we're probably going to have to encase that whole thing and build some cooling vents on it, because now it's way more dangerous now that I'm in hindsight.
Whatever tray is holding it, we're going to have to do a lot more engineering and development into
Exactly. The
making it
battery
safe.
tray really needs to be made out of something thick and heavy to keep
Yep.
you safe,
And
the
isolated.
driver,
Yep.
as it blows up inside there.
Yeah, but I don't know. Something like that just kind of gets me excited again, and to try to build something unique, and different. And
Oh, we're into it.
Well, the
We
idea
love
of the
the idea.
electric motor, it always enticed me because, like, you remember Bash for Cash the one year? I believe a guy won the compact class with bump starting his stick shift Mustang.
I believe it because I've done that.
So,
So
so the idea that you can use a stick shift enough to create contact in a demolition derby without the car firing up.
Yep.
What could an electric motor really do? And until they change the rules, how could it affect the game?
we'll stop that conversation right here. Don't want to give
yeah,
away too many
we
of
better
my
leave it.
strategies.
No way. It's got a ton of weight. You're going to put a ton of weight in it with batteries. You're going to put like 18 batteries in the car. So you're going to add whatever that is, another 2,000 pounds in just battery. So now when you hit somebody,
50,000 to win, King of Ohio, win it with an electric car.
well, the
can't
problem
stop
is
me.
you're not going to be able to get more than 30 minutes out of that car with those 18 batteries. So you better do some work.
Not wrong.
It'll be
Yeah.
dead.
You're right. You're right.
And that thing will be
is
glowing hot.
Hey,
that is the limiting factor for electric cars is the batteries for sure.
yeah, at
Yeah,
the end
but-
of the day, you still can't win a derby with no suspension. So
Yeah, where would you put the electric motor? Would you put it on a wheel, or would you put it as a drive shaft on it?
Good question. I would think I'd still go rear wheel drive personally, but we'll see.
So you could just put the motor in the car in the cabin with you then.
Yeah, unless they're hub electric motors, then I'd put them in the front.
Well, that's
But,
what I mean,
yeah.
because the X has four motors and it has 5-star crash rating. So if you're going to wreck something, you want to wreck the X.
There we go.
It has 0 to 120 in like 3.5 seconds. Imagine getting hit by that.
Yeah,
I think
right.
Jason's just found the Imperial with the MWFA class.
There we go. There we go. But yeah, I've really never ran the same car more than maybe twice with my derby career. So that's why I kind of get excited about running something new and unique, different that nobody else has derbied before. But that also means that I've never really worked out the kinks of a car. Because like I know if you run a Camry all the time, you get them figured out.
Yeah,
But
that used to be my favorite back in the day, was seeing how that car reacted to what you put it through.
yeah, but I think some of that for me was just the videos on YouTube. Was I knew people were going to watch it, so hey, let's experiment and learn together.
Even today, TJ called me and he said, like, as big as you are in the derby world, he says, I still feel like you're a voice of the smaller people because you go run the small shows and you run random stuff. And like, I have like a Kia Rondo or something that I just got at my garage, and I'm like, it runs. I'm gonna derby it and see what this thing does. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen one. It's like with this weird, like almost like a hybrid, like a SUV, but it's like a wagon. I don't know.
Is that what Melanie ran last year? Or
She likes the calibers.
Caliber, that's what it was. Okay.
Aha, those are
And
fun.
don't ask me why. Sometimes I think less is more, especially in the MWFA class.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone wants to try and find the best DOT tire. I'll sell them to you. I'll make that money. But with the caliber, I truly think the saving grace with what keeps her car going is running the crappy tires, running the aluminum wheels.
Mm-hmm.
That tire blows. You can't break her suspension. I've watched her get hit in the wheel time and time again after that tire's off the rim. They're not hitting your tire. They're not hitting your wheel. They're hitting your firewall or your bumper and not causing damage because less was more.
Yeah.
And
isn't that fun? I think that's the fun part about the classes.
it blows my mind because looking at that car, you don't think a Dodge Caliber should be anything that would compete. But I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't shy away from running one.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a mini wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. I love that we can just pull any car off the street. That's the fun part, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right back to where Derby started, as far as I'm concerned. We're just taking the cars we have today and not the full size cars because that's what they had back then.
We are going to smash so many CRVs in our future. Oh my God, we have Santa Fe's in our future. We are going to blast off on hundreds of Tucsons.
There was a time when even the full size cars, though, my dad wouldn't, if they would have to come in running, some of them, like back in the day, or else, I mean, it was rare. If it was a wagon or something, he might change a motor, but like his Caprices and Impalas, they came into the shop still running and driving.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
I mean, it was MWFA.
Well, you only had 3 cars to choose from back then. And that's the difference was you had a sedan, a 2-door wagon. You didn't have anything else. There was no mid-size SUV, mini truck.
They didn't even have compacts when I first started being involved in Derby around like southwestern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think they called it the Bumblebee class for us. There was one county fair that had them, and that's what they sounded like, a bunch of bumblebees.
So our local promoter would do compacts maybe once a year. And then sometimes he would do the female class that would be a powder puff compact instead of full size.
That's how they do it in California.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still,
oh, yeah.
Today.
Yeah. Man, you should see the cars, and that makes me sad. Camry straight off the road, like I'm talking like beautiful cars. Windshield still in it, bumper cover still on it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's their female compact class.
Uh-huh. We should have ran that one.
I know. I wish. I was like, how? I think it even has to be local though, because I was trying to get Melanie in there, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah,
she was also dying in a rental.
Chino, put on your list.
Okay,
yeah, that's a good one.
All right, that's a real good one. It's something unique and fun about it. The raffle car goes for like $35,000 out of the stands,
and then the guy that wins it says, "I don't want to run it. Raffle it again."
So for another $8,000.
Yeah,
just for someone to drive it.
Wow.
Yeah,
wild.
They take it serious.
No internet.
Yeah,
none. So the world has no idea. You have to go in person to watch that Derby. That's pretty cool. But I know in Track Shot, it'd be great if you come to Seattle this year. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
If you can make that happen for yourself.
Yeah, the guy they're working on the dates right now, and they're gonna shoot them over to me, and we'll see what we can do.
That'd be pretty rad. I know my man Skinny is laying in the hotel room, in his hotel room right now, wishing that he can get back for that. That's his.
Well, we're praying for that to happen.
Yeah, so that's my guy. That's him. He's coming. He wants to be able to make it back for that. So if you're listening, Skinny, we hope that works out for you, buddy. And heck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
I think that's one of my bucket list ones at this point, and I always forget about it. It just looks beautiful up there. It's
a nice place in the world. You know what I mean? I really enjoy the Seattle, and the fair itself is really unique. Like, the heritage there is just
fan of the graffiti there.
Well, not at the fair, but in the city, yes. Yeah.
So I've been meaning to ask you, Jason, do you have any idea about how many events, derbies you've been to?
I don't know. I gotta be nearer than you, right? I gotta be nearer there. I don't know what I do. I do 25 a year, 30.
Okay.
Maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. It feels like every weekend.
Sounds like rookie numbers. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. We're between Track Shot and, the most wanted class. It keeps me busy.
Mm-hmm.
And, so last year for me, I lost half of my landscaping accounts because they're building new houses in the neighborhood. I usually mow vacants.
Mm-hmm.
So open up 10 days a month for me. So last year I took it upon myself to see if I could spray paint those 10 days and make a career out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work out, but I was able to do it for a year, and I was able to try. Could I spray paint enough spray paint to, have a career?
Mm-hmm.
we fell short by a few grand, but we went for it. Now
Yeah.
I know. So if anyone else who wants to go for it, I wish them luck. And if you want to call me and ask me, and I still had Trackshot helping me, and I still had a ton of help and still couldn't make it happen. But you got to try, right?
Yeah, you got to try. That's when you talk about the hustle, it's like sometimes the hustle is just a hope. But you at least have a path or some kind of a plan in order to get there. And
got to swing the ball to hit, or swing the bat to hit the ball.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a dream of mine. Like, how do you make a career out of just spray and spray paint? But we're not there yet. It's not there yet. So we're going to try painting with the actual brush this year to fill up those extra 10 days. And we'll see if it goes worse or better. So
only one way to know, right?
Right. So this year, when you guys are on tour with me, we're going to try to build some sculptures while we're on tour. Like in the shop, we show up at Mike Tix's house, and like Steven Sickles, I know he wants to be a part of it too. We want to just build a sculpture there with your welder and whatever, just see what we can make.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That's my plan for this year is be able to make some and donate them to the area. Be like, here, we stacked up a pile of junk. Call it art.
Yep, you call it art, right?
Yeah. So that's my goal for us this year as we travel America. That's my little personal goal is spray paint as fun as it is. I want to see if we can make some room to build some sculpture.
Yeah.
So as a goal,
I need to try spray painting like that because we've always done painted cars. As long as I can remember, my dad used to hand paint the characters and everything on cars. And then for me, it's just. Well, I spend as much time painting as I probably do building sometimes on some of these more stock classes. But you're never going to see a plain car come out of my shop. I'd rather not run it than have it be not painted.
Well, you're for the show.
I am for the show. And that's where sharing some of those pictures you've probably seen.
Yeah. Those pictures that you've been posting, I've seen some pretty unique paint jobs on them.
A lot of lime green.
Well, that's how we morphed because I always wanted to do green and black was one of my favorite colors growing up as a kid. And I just never really exploited it too fully. And then when I painted my figure 8 car with it, everybody just knows me as green and black now. So I've just kind of latched onto it. And then my Super Duty truck also with the slime on the side, that one just went crazy online too. Mm-hmm. And you probably know how to do that. It's not as complicated as you'd think, but it's just a matter of taking the time to do it.
I think I just saw a wagon that you had painted pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah, my Roadmaster wagon.
Yes.
There was a 70s wagon you ran too, I think. Was it green with white or something?
No, that one, I don't know if I shared a picture of that recently, but we had, my dad acquired a Torino station wagon, and we made that all purple and green.
Oh, okay,
and
that's the
different
one I'm
things.
thinking of.
That was a very unique car. If it hadn't been pre-ran in a Derby, we never would have derbied that because apparently that's an extremely rare vehicle, but we bought it off a Derby friend he was a scrapper and he just had it. And it was a Ford Torino station wagon that was pretty stout actually.
Fortunately, I procrastinate too much. So if I was like you and wouldn't run, if I didn't have the painted car, I wouldn't run anywhere near as much as I do. It's like 1 in every 5 cars we get to make look okay.
Yeah, but definitely. So like, I almost want to touch on that because art has always been something I've enjoyed and trying to incorporate some of it into Derby just in different ways. And again, it's just, whether it's doing patterns on a car or something, it's just, I try to make unique. Every one of my tires has spirals and things because the kids really seem to like that. And I'm always on the gas, so it always looks cool.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, you are an artist. I mean, you're a filmmaker, and it's nice to see that you care about the car looking good coming in. So I feel like my role in Derby is to kind of help create the first experience for Derby for people. Mm-hmm. So if they're first time there, they're going to be like, you're sitting in the stands with somebody. You're going to be like, who do you think's going to win this one? I'm going to keep my eye on that car right there, the green one. So you come in with swirling, twirling tires.
I get everybody's attention. I want to be the one that everybody's rooting for because it just looks cool.
Exactly. You're going to, that you're coming into a crowd of people. What looks good on camera.
Yep.
Right? This already. So you have that. So when you pull in, like, I'm winning this right now.
Yep.
I'm winning the fan favorite right now.
And again, it's like with the kids, I want to incorporate them into it too, so they get to see dad painting. And I always, kind of going off to the My Little Pony, they had their little cutie marks on their back. That was kind of their personality. So for each one of my kids, I actually have a little thing I put on each one of my cars for every one of my kids. And they each have their own little symbol. And so no matter what I'm running, they all look for, they love it when I paint a car because they go try to find where I put it.
Nice.
And
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so it's always kind of fun.
I do miss the local derbies around here. They used to always have the beautiful bomb or an award for painting. And they seem to sort of stray away from that.
Which is a shame to me because, well, I say that because I have a lot of those and I like winning those
Lexi does it for, Lexi helps TJ with the Buried Alive one, but it's not a trophy that gets like brought to the attention of the public.
Right. Yep.
That's one thing I miss. So like, growing up, they had what was called the Beautiful Bomb. They would do that. You do either the national anthem, all them cars would pull in. They'd do the national anthem with all them cars out there. Then they'd have a Beautiful Bomb judging contest. And it would just be a cheap $20 trophy, I'm sure. You didn't get any money or anything. But I think a lot of promoters should almost get back to that because that's one thing that could help pull new people into the sport.
Yeah.
The visual aspect, not seeing all the flat black cars like Jason always says.
Well, you have to incentivize again towards that. And yeah, we still have a couple local county fairs that actually do that. They call it best paint. So they all pull out right after national anthem. Sometimes it's a favoritism type thing, but I think most of the time the crowd is totally into it and they vote based on who has the best paint. And what that does is when you do that, people will, they might be a one-shot wonder, but they're going to still have a great derby because they maybe painted it and they're super proud of it and they get the whole family involved.
It's part of the family tradition for some families is like this group of people within here are the painters of the cars.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it really, I gravitate towards that. Obviously, I like that idea of the community, getting people pumped up at the beginning, at the crowd, and just there's something about it because there's so many counterculture things here that a lot of it should be really embraced. And that's one of the things that should be embraced and encouraged is, I know you guys are pro derby guys and the flat black cars make sense at the getting the dough type of stuff. But as entertainers,
that's what the crowd loves it.
Do a mix.
Right? Well, I mean, you do. But you pump out 30 cars. So
well, sometimes I like the challenge of being the most seen car. Like, I challenge myself personally all the time. Like, I went and ran Frank the Tank at Bash for Cash. There is no reason that Steven Sickles, the way I drive, should run that class. But in my head, I'm like, to be good at what I do, I have to be out of my element and do good at it. I want to try and be successful out of my element. So sometimes having the brightest car on the track is sort of like a little bit of a challenge for me because I do know everyone's going to know where I'm at and I'm not going to be able to play hide and seek as well as I normally would.
Well, everybody wants to junk the YouTubers, so I just might as well put a big target on me and just go for it.
I know all about targets.
Everybody wants to ruin Decker.
But yeah, it really isn't.
Chunkin' Decker's my favorite.
I've never had a chance to share the track with him yet. I need to do that. But yeah, it is very much about family for us. And honestly, that's partly why I started the channel as well, is because I wanted to be a positive place for people to enjoy derby. I have kids and I'm sensitive to it. If you watch our content, you're not going to hear a bunch of language. And if I'm hearing somebody in the crowd, cursing out the driver, I'll just stop the video as an edit point and I'll edit it right out because I want to make sure that if you're watching our videos, it's going to be safe no matter if it's a toddler or if it's a grown adult. We're family friendly.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, that's not a dig on anybody. It's just because, emotions happen, things happen. There's words that come out of my mouth in the shop that I'm not proud of, but at the same time, it is life. But that's why I do enjoy the fact I can edit the videos. I can make sure it's family safe and I have no problem having any one of my kids. Well, she knows they'll watch the videos. They think it's dad on the track, but it's not. But we want to make sure that continues to be a safe place and bring all the good from Demolition Derby because there's so much amazing good out of the sport. Yep. And I think that's what keeps fueling me too, is I want to meet more people. I want to continue to show off that good and the entertainment to the world.
That's right. You should. And remind them that you did it first. Don't let them youngsters forget.
Well, I've been at this a long time. The original channel was 2010, and so I've been at this the video side of things for 13 years.
Right.
And I nothing against Freebie, but he was 2 when that was all starting. So I've been through, experimented, seen some stuff. But
take your credit, man. Get it.
Well, it's been just an absolute blast of a ride, and it's going to keep morphing with the sport, keep being a student of the game, and try to take as much from outside elements as I can and bring it into Derby and see what happens.
Heck yeah. I know Steven Sickles is pumped that you were here today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, these 3 episodes went super quick, but I feel like we could have did 10 with Alex today, honestly.
For sure.
If there's an opportunity, I'd love to be back in the future, Jason.
Well, we do it once a month here at StudioME. Thank you. Nice segue there. With Brian Cottington from our Cinema Psychos podcast. Brian kills it at Libsyn. He does such a good job. He's going to Podfest. I'm trying to get Steven and I to be his entourage.
There you go.
Like, we are lucky that this dude doesn't take the mics from us. So thank you, buddy. Again, StudioME, upgrading your cameras, really making sure that the podcasts are high level here. And we thank you for that. And coming in early, we are the most annoying bunch. We come in 8 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, that was way too early. But because I do my best work at 9 o'clock to midnight, not in the morning.
Well, Steven Sickles runs derbies all summer, so he has to come here because he usually has a car and a trailer, and he's piecing out.
There's been many
10.
of times where I'm leaving here to go to Ohio.
Well, I see the videos,
Indiana,
and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wherever.
So we this is the only time we can make things work. And Brian's got a lot of kids too, so it's tough for him to get here as well. So I appreciate everybody that comes here.
And thank you so much for listening, guys. I mean, really, tune into this guy and everything you're doing on your podcast too. These guys have some great content, unique angles, and please give them a like and share and subscribe.
One more shout out for Alex's better half. She's been a trooper with us. She's knitted a whole sweater, it looks like, over there.
crochet.
That's right.
Crochet.
That's right.
But yes, none of this would be possible for him if it wasn't for her. So I got to give it to her.
That's wonderful. And we appreciate that. One more time for the socials. How can they find you?
Sure. Alex Vasko with a K, Vasko on Facebook. All the number 4 him racing videos on all the socials if you want to get your Derby video fix.
Steven Sickles on Facebook, Revved Up GarageCast, Revved Up Custom and Automotive, Sickles Racing, Lake One, or all of the above. We appreciate any.
Oh, and I would get in trouble with my wife if I didn't say all for him racing videos where Derby never ends.
Yes, there it is. All right, thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Without you guys, we just can't do it. So appreciate it, and stay tuned.
Thank you.